game. I don't believe that. I might believe that. Windowed, no border. Good. Advanced options. Hoho. We up. Yeah. Okay. Keyboard and mouse. Mouse sensitivity. Yeah. Begin. Let's see. I've never played this. I've avoided this at all cost. Simple game.
Hi there.
WS.
Thank you very much for playing the Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around.
Wait. Yes. Okay. Okay. I skipped the dialogue. Restart the level.
Hi there. Thank you very
that's
much
what
for
I
playing
wanted.
The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable.
Sorry that you have to go
and
through
while
this again.
that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about
Probably
a
because
series
I
of
switched
events
audio
that
devices,
happened
or like
between 2008
output.
and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way.
I said box floating.
And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of
Hey,
building a
Unis.
3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simplest that
Yeah.
desert town,
Surfing.
he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveyWreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As
Okay.
each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Okay. Whoa. Whoa. Huh? Huh?
This
What?
game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
No sounds. No gun sounds.
Security call breached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly
What
there
is
are no
shooting?
enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they
A lot
are,
of bullets.
rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
Can't sprint.
Begin shield evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, okay. What?
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Oh. Hey, I wanted to play through that. Ah,
Okay, this is the part that's interesting.
come on.
The game has this narrative about the Whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all.
I could have gone back.
That
Oh,
beam is powering
whatever.
the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If you
nah, this doesn't work in
your
this game.
body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
What? Ground control to Major Tom.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger
Oh, look.
chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place,
So,
juxtaposed
second
against
one-
all
no,
of
wait.
the hysteria that you've just had
First
to
one and then
traverse.
second to last.
I don't even
Okay.
know. I have no idea what he was thinking.
First
but
one right, second
what's
to last.
clear is that after making this, something
left.
lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Oops, do we have lift up?
Yep, in this game you can
What?
only walk backwards.
B-hop. No, okay. What? What?
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the
Hey, Pet
previous
Shop.
game, but actually
No,
it seems
not
to
cute.
be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
What? There was a door there.
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and
No,
then it
not
ends.
cute.
Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Need to fix my hair a bit because it keeps getting in my eye when I'm shaking my head. Ah. Okay. Oh, okay. I can't really walk left or right. You are now entering. What? Aura?
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
What? December 2008?
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
What?
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Let's climb up the stairs. Ah, I can jump up. Can't sprint. Oh, I'm getting slower.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all?
What?
Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Okay. Because there's nothing behind the door. What? What?
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Game filled with chairs, except one chair is floating. Sharks are trying to
Coda
eat you.
would often tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or
Press you to
distant.
surrender.
He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very slow climb to get there.
You walk around talking people down from pursuing their hopes and dreams. What? You are a gate. Hello, I wanted to read all of them. No. Aw. Yes. I'm here. Give me a sec. People are once again dropping massive bombs and not removing them. Oh. Fish. What? There's a lever.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
How much is it? This game or the fish? Ooh. What?
Don't
Whoa,
forget that
okay.
solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot.
Okay. Puzzle.
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. All right, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
What?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
January 2009. And we're back at this. We are now exiting.
Aha! So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the Stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them.
Okay.
And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
March 2009. The Great and Lovely Descent. What? Fuck. Am I in a John Oliver episode? Wait, no, not John Oliver.
Let's talk about video game development for a second.
Yeah,
Every video
John
game
Oliver.
runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of
Last week
tools for
tonight,
game
yeah.
development.
Okay. It's a
To
door.
make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work
Okay,
they're
no,
gonna
let's get
end
out of
up
here.
making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games to notice how they seem to stem from an
Scared.
engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Fuck! Where am I? Hello? Are we gonna surf now? Let's go. Wap up 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 up. Okay. I live. Ah! Hoo hee ha! Jab jab! No! Ah! Okay. Help. What is this? I am so confused. What? I want to go that way. What? No, that way. Oh, let me out. What?
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Okay. What? No, no.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
There
There
wasn't. Okay. Interesting. I'm really liking this game so far. As in, beginner's guide, not like Coda's game stuff. Oh, a puzzle.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Whee. Not even kidding, this game is an experience. Nope. Okay. You there, did you come up from
Here,
up above?
Coda
What was
begins
up there?
using a kind of dialogue system that he
What-
fashioned
what?
out of the engine's
Hey,
chat
only-
capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
There was a world stamped with whiteness. There was an enormous prison I spent hours in. There were these floating colored blocks. Okay. It was an enormous prison I spent hours in. That's the world above, you've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? Yeah. Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. Okay. Now you get... Okay. Hey, Only, how's it going? Didn't solve it. Someone else let me in. Yeah, let's go with that. You didn't solve it? So you've learned nothing. You cannot help us escape this prison. You're not the one I need. Surely there will be someone else. What? Am I being thrown away? Hello? What? I've been right here this entire time? I suggest you go and see the puzzle sometime. It's not meant to be solved, but you can sit in the black space in the middle. What? Why is... What? Who are you? Just go hang out there in that blackness for a bit. You may not like it at first, but it'll grow on you eventually. What? No! I don't wanna. What? I am...
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
And we'll drop down now. No? Okay. What?
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work as well. His games are just gonna become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Alex, thank you so much for subscribing. Haven't seen you in chat, so I assume it's for the badge, but that's fine. Enjoy that in a bit, and also some degen weeby modes, I guess. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. Okay. All notes you see are left by other players. So basically Dark Souls. How do I leave a note? Nice room, not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this
game?
game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda.
Huh.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention.
What?
I was over enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me.
Reasonable.
And I cooled off eventually.
Everyone read this.
Hey. Feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing
sad.
anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Guy over there wrote much wrong.
Either way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be.
This game is no nice. I would like it when I could. Do not be afraid. Do care. I just saw a flying penguin.
Isn't it? What? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually try to connect with him.
Okay.
And I have to be honest with you, This idea is really seductive to me.
No, brackets.
Play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world.
Don't listen to that guy.
And then I feel less.
Yeah, you get 300 for following. A free t-shirt! Need other side door, why you so? Door, how open? Open sesame. Makes game includes door, cannot open door, thanks. Okay. Someday I will meet the person who made this. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. Oh my god! Do you hear the chimes that keep you going? Weird. Maybe it's just a glitch on Twitch then that it gave them now. Yeah, I don't have a follow H command. But I do remember you followed like a while ago. In December. It's like literally a month at this point. No, I do have commands, just not follow H. You should be able to see your follow H if you click your name in chat though. A followage. Followage. Okay. Oh, butter. Yes. 1 month celebration. Pog? Whoever made this has issues. Who are all of you? Okay. I'm just getting like... What? Textures? There must be a reason for it. It's terrible secret, you kept it well. I beat the game. Can't even jump down.
At the end
there.
of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Hear voices.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
How do you leave notes? What? That one's different. That one's different. That one up there is different. What? May to June 2009. Porn stars.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
What? Is there anything up there? No. There's a bop.
See,
what?
This is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
What? What about along the wall of the room? Picture of a horse. What? Should light up this room a bit. Live Tesla coils in each corner, yeah. Skylight. That's not a skylight. Been lied to. And a table, you need a table. I have a table. Where are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? I'm pretty sure none of my choices are making any difference. Tables were invented in 1935. What is happening? Let me out!
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
I'm scared. Let me back into the well. What?
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
What's happening? Please walk forward. No. Scan will enable you to escape any prison environment. To follow the instructions to get to remember each step, click on the table. Okay. Table, photo frame. Floor lamp? Table, photo, lamp, off, on? I'm sure it won't make any difference, but sure. Remember, chat. Table, photo, lamp? Lamp 2? Move sofa? Okay. Okay, touch the shelves. What? Okay. Table, photo, lamp, sofa, frames. Not frames, but... Okay. Yeah, the 3 holes are everywhere. Okay. I don't have a table.
Of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape.
Of course.
Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But
do I have any socials? Twitter, Discord, Steam,
of defense against yourself. Without it, you just
YouTube.
Spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he
No, I don't have an OnlyFans anymore. I kept that.
Likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
No more feed pics? I haven't uploaded feed pics to that. Only thighs. Nah, there was more than that. I'll leave it at that though. Okay, no prison. But we have a phone booth. Is that a phone booth? Looks like a phone booth. Yes. Can I call someone? You guessed it. Let me in. That too. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You me? What? So you were trapped in this prison too?
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
Reverse prison, that's
but
where I am right now.
The irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Actually, I'm already forgetting what being in the prison was like. It's kind of strange, but in a way I kind of miss being in the prison. It's like being completely still and widely in motion at the same time. Do you feel any different? Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out and then things will be exactly the same as before. No, I'm really the same person now as I was back then. Oh no, that's awful. It's the worst thing I can imagine. Problem is that you don't actually know who you are right now. Wait, if you mean, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? No, I think I'm the first person to call back. Then you can you tell me how to get out? Maybe I can come find you. What do I have to do? You need to tell me how you feel right now. What? That will free me? How does that work? It will make sense. Yeah, I feel afraid that nothing will ever change. Go on. What?
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice?
August 2009.
So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Door. Hitman.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Which VR chat world is this? Oh, okay. Let me out. Oh my goodness, I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Then I might be having to clean this entire house all by myself, and right miserable that would have been. Oh no, lonesome hands make lousy homes.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Okay. I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Much nicer, that's the table I want to see. Now would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? I can't run, but I can... Okay. While you're in there, why don't you straighten out the rug a bit? Okay. How do you end up doing this job? It's been a long time since I've seen a house this messy. A friend dragged me along at a time when I was particularly desperate for cash. Turns out I've never felt so good doing something for money my whole life. Never did like cleaning my own home. I might have got some demons I ain't ready to face yet. Oh, speaking of demons, someone's put this couch all in a mess. Come out and straighten these pillows here. Oh dear, looks like someone spilled a drink over by the couch. Maybe mop that up as long as you're over there. Feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. ... No. What? No, it was stupid, sorry. Never mind. What? These dishes need to be washed. What? Come on, you can share stuff with me. The tub needed cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best as you can? No need to be fair, perfect, we're just human. Still books scattered on the floor of the bathroom, so would you pick them back up on a shelf? Perfect. Now then, how about you come and clear these dishes off the table? What? I already did that.
Set of prison games. This house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
All houses is easy to clean? Darling, let me tell you something. In your lifetime you're going to clean a lot of houses, and among all of those, a few of them will stick out as truly wonderful, beautiful experiences. None of them will be the ones that were easy. There's something to think about while you smooth out the rug in the bathroom.
I know that Coda really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just
Tidying up the
walked
bathtub.
around with a constant smile on his face.
Earlier when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. But there's a bit of truth in it now. ... Anyway. So, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books, would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Pillows on the couch are a real mess. Would you ever go and straighten them up?
I'm glad he found some peace.
Question.
But
Do you enjoy
of
this?
course, it can't
What?
last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again,
Aw.
you can't
What?
stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Aww. Lamppost.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move.
Oh, tree.
I really thought that was the point of it.
September 2009. Items you love at members only
This
prices.
one
What?
gets a bit goofy.
What? What? Why did I come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. It was my abs. Wait, no. Came here to become perfect. What? This workshop's going to teach you how to be perfect. I said over there! I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your life? Who do you know is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how we do it, but how we do it. How do we do it effortlessly? Effortlessly. I can't speak. This is easy. It's so easy.
About
It's so
halfway
easy.
through the game, the perspective shifts.
Being perfect is effortless. What? What? On the way to work, I told an elderly
And
person
you
to
play
start
as
contributing
the
to
teacher.
society.
And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Oh. Being alone must be awful. Black hole sun, won't you come? Drinking is not hurting my life. Seek out only one thing. What's the easiest, simplest path forward? Ha ha ha, just kidding. What is happening? Nothing. No one.
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like
Perfection.
it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and
my
totally
God.
fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I
That
think
one
about
hit
this game
home.
a lot these days.
I didn't even see the lamppost. What?
This one
Stage.
took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Okay. What? Help. Alright, performance beginning. Places, please. What? Cool. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We're at a gathering of professionals. What is happening? You'll start out leaning against this wall. Stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Do I walk up? Where's the bathroom? What are you doing? You're deflecting, you're not saying what's actually on your mind. Stop dancing around it and have a conversation with this person. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. No, that's not what I said to her at all. Completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. Some reason it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Whoa! What are some sacrifices you've had to make? Happy. You're messing it up all again? You freak out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Do you not realize how important this was for me? I'll never get another opportunity like this. Everything was riding on this. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. What? Lamppost. What? Why is this so long?
The game ends
what
with
it was
this
like.
eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Yeah. June 2010. Mobius strip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. What? Okay. It's S whisper. What's going on? Well, I can't see, but you know. Uh-oh! Door! Don't let this be forever. Door! What?
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
I need to stop it just to speak someone that is honest. Can't keep making these, that's it, that's the truth. What? I'm out of ideas.
Like I said, I was getting concerned.
Keep going,
First
keep
off,
talking.
He's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual.
Haven't been honest.
You know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing.
I'm alone.
Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
December 2010. What is this? What? Tree. Hey, kind. How's it going? Where did this island come from? What? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. It's going good. How about you? I'm doing alright. Happy to hear you're doing okay. Completely out of ideas. Oh no. What's happened? Did something change? It was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. You're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. Hello, Foxy! How's it going? I need to see it to know why it stopped. Can take you to it, but there's a problem. It's guarded by a difficult
Coda
puzzle.
talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
It's a puzzle.
From my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Close the first door. I think I'm good. I don't know how I'm doing okay. Press the switch here.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
To say your work is fun and easy, you have to say the game development is simple and joyous and that you love it 100% of the time. Making games is easy. Ah, it feels wonderful. But it feels so awful when I said that. Just keep talking. Keep saying.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
Jesus Christ.
But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
These games are just like way too insane. Man, I'm glad to see you've arrived safely. We've captured the machine. It's waiting for you now. You can begin the interrogation whenever you like. Tend to be quick. Very good. We wanted someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Ooh. Okay. What will be done with the machine? What will you do with it? How did you capture it? Cool, no,
And of course, it's the machine.
He stopped. Work was keeping us healthy. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? And so alone. It sounds like but. Apologize for leaving me. I've seen the thing you fear. Alright then, I will apologize to the people on your behalf. Stopped, okay. My friends. Falls on me to deliver bad news. Machine will not apologize to us. We'll find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us pay it retribution. We will destroy the machine. Now the machine is gone? Yes, knew it. We're back on stage. What? Oh. Okay. Gotta make sure your work dies here. Isn't that what you're scared of? Having to live without your precious creations? Having to deal with yourself?
Self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation.
What?
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realized that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
What? The room with the ideas. Ah!
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Lamppost. Machine will start again. Don't shoot the machine. Do I?
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need. To be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
He didn't enjoy it though. He wasn't making him happy. Did?
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
June 2011. The Tower.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
I can tell by the noises, yes.
This room actually has a maze in it.
What?
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes
Epilepsy warning,
beyond
by the way.
not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Okay. So once again, Coda doesn't like people playing his games, it seems. Huh.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze? The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
It's very annoying to guess. Yeah, I guess. Oh.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem. But I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Done with the Red Bull.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't.
Yeah, the 3 dots. Coda has lost himself in his own
I
mind.
just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like I had failed.
I exist in Discord. Why don't I exist in Discord? What? What? What?
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you. I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Stop changing my game. Stop adding lampposts to them. What? What? Wait, Davey added the lampposts? What? What? No. You simply let them be what they are.
And I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all.
What you mean? It's just him, isn't
Nothing.
it?
Less than nothing.
When I'm around you, I feel physically ill. I desperately need something, and I cannot give it to you. I literally do not have it. Struggling to come up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I'm frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you just yet. Just fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and then you make peace with this thing you're wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything. What?
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work. Is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply,
Zooming in.
will you start making games again? Please. I need to
Room is
feel okay
getting-
with myself again.
the room is getting
I
slimmer.
always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please,
再当
start
个
making
人
games again. Please help me. Please give me some of
Can I?
whatever it is that
Thank
that
you
makes
so much for the raid.
complete.
Welcome,
I
everyone.
want whatever that wholeness is that you just
We're
summoned
playing
out of nothing and you put into your work.
the beginner's
You were
guide right now, and
complete in
oh
some
my
way that
god.
I never was. And I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself.
Joined at a
Please.
very
I'm
interesting
fading, and all
point.
I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
Spiderhawks. There's like a very emotional point right now, so... What? Just black screen? Oh, there you go. Epilogue. What? What? Okay. Anyway, give me a second. And thank you so much for the raid. What are you playing? Let me give you a shout out. Warhammer 40k. I've heard of that game several times. Never really got into it myself. Let's see. Cute spider. Hey, Howler. Warhammer is a rabbit hole. Could imagine. Oh, we're on chapter 17 already. Wow. But yeah, we're playing the beginner's guides. This is by the same developer that made the Stanley Parable. It's like more of a serious thing, or rather, it is fully serious. It's about a friend of his that kept making games that were like weird trips into his friend's mind, and some of them were not really fully completable and everything. So like, if you missed the start of this, I highly recommend playing this yourself, and it's fully understandable if you would want to drop out now and not watch any further because of spoilers, because like we're like, I don't even know how far we are into this game, but feel we're close to the end, and yeah. So like, again, spoilers ahead for this, right? It is Inquisitor is an ARPG in the same vein as Diablo 2 and 3, and it's amazingly good fun if you like the Warhammer 40k universe with 6 fans. Ooh. So thank you, Buds. But also, hey Nox, how's it going? But yes, give me a sec. There you go, pet the raiders. Yeah, this entire game is a lot to take into. It's incredible. It's amazing. But yeah, it's. I just. Butts all around. Yeah, that too.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Make your feedback, it changes the game, its creator, because its haven is now Desert Wasteland. What? On the topic of Stanley Parable. Yeah.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons.
I mean, maybe it's just an outlet for him. That's like the thing. Maybe that's
Even
what's
now,
keeping him
the
sane.
disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
What? What? Okay.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Well, not really.
What now?
Yeah.
I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for, and so I'm just gonna... Okay.
Yep. No. Illegal. Can tell in his voice his nose is blocked from crying, yeah. What? Oh, it's the beam from the first game. But this time it probably won't get us, like, up, right? Oh, no it is. Lots of mazes. One big maze. No, I could imagine. Also, hey Grift, how's it going?
Turn back,
Jesus Christ.
turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going.
I'm shedding tears right now.
But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles.
Jesus Christ. That was something. Oh. I do wonder if Coda is okay nowadays, though. Like, I don't know if Death was able to reach him. Yeah. You think they're the same person? Coda might not even be a person. Let's see. Okay, there are many theories. Coda is Davy. It's the most popular interpretation. Coda might represent Davy's alter ego or a younger version of him, particularly of when he was developing and later selling Stanley Parable. Coda might represent a struggling, confused, and even depressed Davy at the time he was trying to make the Stanley Parable a successful game, with the games reflecting different periods of the struggle, such as when he had to deal with criticism. Coda is actually another person. It might be that Coda is in fact a real person that Davy met. Game designer or not, Davy clearly states in various instances that the two are different persons. For example, he says at least twice that Coda sent him folders containing games. If Davy is telling the truth and they were the same person, it would not make sense. Davy also says that he did not understand many of the contents of Coda's games, which also doesn't match with the theory of them being the same person unless taken philosophically. Supporters of the theory do not necessarily advocate an extreme version, with Davy having genuine mental breakdowns on a microphone, selling someone else's work without permission, since it would be highly unlikely for high-profile developers such as him to do this, as reviewer Aaron Signal explains. Instead, the beginner's guide may represent a romanticized reading of a real person's story and not an entirely made-up story. The extent of the game's genuineness within this theory, however, is debatable. It's known that the games were not the work of a single amateur developer. This expert article, for example, points out that the degree of polish in the beginner's guide's levels is very telling of the work of a qualified professional team. However, it's yet entirely possible that the levels were inspired by even recreations of amateur work. One of the arguments in favor of the series is the fact that the game ends with a homage for R. This has been hypothesized to be Davy's roommate or co-worker based on talks he gave about his period of depression, but these may be considered frail arguments compared to common sense about it. Then there's one more. Coda represents something else. It is also possible that Coda represents an external force rather than something inside Davy's mind. From 2015, there was a post on the r/beginners guide where someone said, Coda is apparently real. Listen to the first 5 minutes of this podcast where they talk about an interview with Davy Reedon, Tim confirming Coda exists. What people lack understanding of is this. Galactic Cafe. The first post is called Game of the Year, where Davy, creator of Stanley Parable, explains how depressed and divided he became after releasing his game. Stanley Parable wasn't a game for start. It was a Half-Life 2 mod, something Davy worked on for 3 years, but still just one of many Half-Life mods created in the sense of just letting others take part of the developer's ideas. Became a super smash hit. After that, Davy hasn't made another game up until Beginner's Guide. He tried once to make a game called Project 2, which even refers to on his blog as I killed it because it was pretty good, great even, but it wasn't utterly fantastic. So yes, Coda is Davy in Beginner's Guide. However, the narrator voiced by Davy isn't necessarily himself, but the audience and fans of Stanley Parable. And then there's spoilers. Ooh, is this very in-depth? Holy crap, okay. Jesus Christ. Yeah, this was a game. No, Beginner's Guide is not downloading anymore, don't worry. Oh no, Beginner's Guide isn't downloading anymore. This game was phenomenal though, I have to say. And I regret only playing it now, or only having played it now. Like, that was, yeah.